Following yesterday's triumphant rant about the government's plans for milk floats and all these grants they've announced, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a beauty. I don't breathe for about 14 minutes. Don't come up for air once. One of the things that came out of it was this new scheme that Heidi Alexander, again, referenced yesterday, 10-pointer, announced over the weekend a huge scheme to put cable channels in across the pavement so people without driveways, that's you peasants out there without a driveway. I mean, imagine not having your own driveway and your own solar panels. Oh, really? I didn't know such a thing existed. Yeah, most people. They're going to put a channel across so you can lay a cable across from your house out into the road to charge your milk float. Now, at the time, I said this was fraught with danger and it would need plan permission and everything else. Luckily, one of the evangelists, won't give you his name because I'm no longer promoting the evangelists because they seem to get off on it. So much like when Maggie Thatcher wouldn't say Jerry Adams' name, similar thing. I won't be giving them the oxygen of publicity. Anyway, he said that I was an ignorant twat and I didn't know what I was talking about and I had no idea about it all. So I thought, right, I'll go do my homework then. So today, I have done my homework on how you get a hole across the road to do it. And then you can plug in your milk float. So, first thing I did was Google it. And it comes up, your local authority will be in charge of this. Well, I live in Cornwall, so that's Cornwall Council for me. So I went on the Cornwall Council page for it. Here it is. Now, I should have, by this stage, mastered picture in picture. So it should be about there. You should be looking at the page that I'm now talking about. It should be there in the corner, right there. And if it's not, sorry, I'm just shit. But hopefully it is. It's right there by my finger. So the first thing that they say on this page is that you got to go to Cormac to get a quote and sort out your requirements for having your cable laid across your pavement outside your house into the road to charge your milk float up. Now, for those of you not from Cornwall, though I'm sure it's the same across the country, Cormac have a wonderful reputation for roadworks in Cornwall. Yeah, can't do it. They don't. They have a reputation for standing around, leaning on their shovels, doing fuck all. And then when they do a job, they charge 10 times as much as anyone else. And it's an arm's length company, which is part of the council, but a separate thing where basically, no, I'm going to have to say allegedly here because I know Cornwall Council's lawyers are always watching this stuff. Allegedly, the money goes into Cormac and then goes back into Cornwall Council and all the profits go back into the council, except there aren't any profits because they use sky-high fees to make sure that there's no profits to go back into the council and it just gets dissolved down into the Cormac hierarchy. And then they second people from Cornwall Council to go and work for Cormac so that, and then they double that. And then that money goes back into the coffers as well. And nobody never makes a profit. And if it does, prove it. Let's see the accounts. Anyway, so you got to go to them and get a quote. How long that's going to take, I don't know. But then the next surprise was that you need a license in Cornwall. A license to have your pavement dug up. I mean, that much. But nevertheless, you need a license to have an EV charging point outside your house across the pavement in the road because that's not your bit. You don't own that bit. So you need a license. 175 quid. What it's for isn't clear because that's not how much you're going to pay to have it done. That's just for the right to have it. So much like everything else in the world of milk floatery, it's costing you money and it's making someone money. So there must be now in Cornwall Council somewhere an EV pavement charging licensing department whose job it is to take 175 quid off every sucker that's stupid enough to apply for it. So that process takes at least 4 weeks. I don't know how long the process to get a quote from Cormac takes, but I'm guessing it's 4 weeks minimum, probably longer. So you're a couple of months in, you haven't gotten anywhere yet, but you are 175 quid worse off for getting a quote and then getting a license. Then you got to have it installed. That's not clear how that works. According to the page, that page there, who knows? I couldn't find the information out from Cornwall Council that every quote is individual, I would imagine, and it would depend how many men need to lean on a shovel to do it. So I carried on down the page. We'll come back to that. And, on the subject of the licence, it says licences are subject to review every year. So whether it's a yearly licence or whether it's a one-off fee, that much isn't clear. So you could be paying £175 every year for the privilege, which seems a tad expensive. However, if you're determined to save the planet and you're worried about the polar bears, then, it's a small price to pay, I'm sure, for your self-righteousness. So, the next question on this page, should still be there, is, can I reserve a space? No. Straight answer. One of the few things they're very definitive about, no. Just because you've got a channel coming out from your house with access to a cable that you can lay across that channel, then no. So people can still park outside your house. You got no right to the space. So literally, like where I live, I came home last night. Someone was visiting someone across the road. They've parked there. Yeah, whatever. I ain't a parking Nazi. I don't believe in this. This is my space. This is blah, blah, blah. Everyone's just going to park where they like. I don't give a shit. As long as I'm parked within 100 yards of my house, I'm not too bothered. But it does mean that once you've paid all this money out, there's still no guarantee you can charge your milk float. So imagine you come home late at night, your milk float, you got range anxiety. You will have that anyway because you've got a milk float. So you've got to have range anxiety. It goes with the territory. So you're there. You go, I've got 20 miles left. In the morning, I've got to drive Truro. I'm going to need to charge up before I go work in the morning. Never mind. I've got my pavement charging facility. I'll be able to do it when I get home. And you get home and you can't park outside your house. It's midnight. What are you going to do? Go around knocking on every fucker's door going, excuse me, is that your... No, it's not your car. Yeah, sorry to wake you up. Yeah. Only I'm a self-righteous twat with a milk float and I desperately need to charge it because I can't charge it anywhere publicly around here because there's no fast chargers. So I need to use my own charger and charge it overnight, even though I'm going to work again at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm only going to charge for 7 hours using the trickle charger that comes with my house. And so I'm probably only going to get about 30 miles in it, but at least it'll get me Truro. Oh, yeah. Anyway, you didn't need to know that, did you, Jav? Right, you go back to bed. I'll go next door, wake Liam up. Liam, yeah, I know you got 2 kids and they're both under 5 and you got a baby, but that don't matter. Who's else parked outside? And so it goes on until eventually you give up, go bed, wake up in the morning with a bloody milk float that won't do more than 15 miles and you haven't been able to charge it overnight because someone's got visitors and you don't know who it is. That is the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is you live in a terrace and people just park wherever there's a space. And that happens all over Britain. Even if you've got residence permit parking, it only entitles you to the road. No one's got an individual space. So if you've got a residence parking permit, you're just going to park it. You couldn't give a shit whether it's outside your house or someone else's house, as long as you park your car. We're in EV rage territory here. I need to charge my milk float. I've got a Nissan Leaf. I'm better than you. Let me park outside. No, mate, I couldn't give a shit. I'm driving a 4-litre V8. I'll just go down the petrol station in the morning and fill up. Your fault. Shouldn't have been on a milk float. So that is the major issue with this. That's the availability of the space to be able to park your car, to plug it in. Unless, of course, you've got an extra long cable. But then if you have an extra long cable, we're in trip hazard territory. And should you dangle it along the side of the pavement and someone falls over it, you're going to be liable for that, because I guarantee the public liability, hang on, there's a thing about public liability on this page, which I didn't write down in my notes. Cormac Solutions, oh no, that's to carry out the works. Who's liable for someone falling over your cable? It's you. So let's say next door neighbour comes out in the middle of the night to go and get into his 5 litre V8. Oh, it was a 4 litre V8, sorry. Consistency is key. They need to come out, get into their 4 litre V8. So they come out, they don't need to charge, of course, because they got a full tank of petrol. And if they don't, there's a Tesco's 1 mile down the road. They can roll down the hill and get there. You can't roll in an EV, they don't roll. And he falls over your cable, breaks his arm, can't drive his 4 litre V8, and now can't go to work either. Oi, Tone, fell over your fucking cable last night, you silly twat. What you doing? Oh, well, I couldn't park right outside my house. I had to park a bit further down, so I just stretched a cable across, and I'm sorry you didn't see it in the dark, and now you're off work for 6 weeks. Oh, please don't sue me. Well, that's all right. I'm self-employed, so as long as you cover my 6 weeks off work, I'll be fine. Well, that ain't going to work, is it? There's your other issue. However, down the page a little bit further, it says for more information, there's 2 things that you can do. One is go to electric vehicle charging page on Cornwall Council. Don't go there. Fuck me, it's boring. But the other one is Turbocharge. Now, I have assumed, all right, at this point, I am assuming, but the mere fact that they've got a link on the official Cornwall Council page to Turbocharge, and then when you go to Turbocharge website, they say that they install these things on behalf of Cornwall Council. I would say that they are the approved contractor for this, and Cormac probably won't be doing the work. They're subbing it out and probably just taking a cut for doing what is essentially known in the business world as fuck all. However, if they're taking a cut, who cares? Doesn't bother me. Who gets the money? Because I ain't doing it anyway. So, here we go. Here's the Turbocharge homepage. Should be appearing right there next to me. There. First thing you notice, there's a photo. And it shows you what a Turbocharge looks like. And it literally is. It's a 2-inch channel, which they've cut probably about that deep in the pavement, from one side of the pavement to the other, for you to put your cable in. And then they got a rubber flap over the top so that there's no trip hazards. How long do these rubber flaps last? Because I would imagine that eventually they're going to sag a bit, and then there is going to be a trip hazard, and then we're back into the world of, well, who's getting sued for that? Is it Turbocharge? Is it Cornwall Council? Is it the householder? We don't know. That's in the future. I am already predicting problems that may exist in the future. I used to write risk assessments. I'm rather good at this. That is fraught with danger. Anyway, let's forget that. Let's assume that that channel's a beautiful thing. There's that woman. Look, she's very happy. She's there. She got her charger in her hand. She's charging up her milk float using her Turbocharge thing, which is on the floor there. And that's lovely. What a lovely thing. She's having a wonderful time. But how much does it cost? Well, I've been through all the various counties, and you'll be not surprised to hear it's a postcode lottery. It varies from county to county. And now, bearing in mind, this company are probably rolling this out across Britain. They've got a fixed fee for this. They know exactly how much it takes one man to turn up, do the risk assessment, cut the hole, put the flap in. It's a flat fee. So the only conclusion is the councils are taking a cut, and it depends how much the councils are greedy for. So the costs vary from, I think the cheapest I found was £890. And then the dearest, not surprisingly, you'll be surprised to hear if you've ever been on holiday here or you live here, is Cornwall. Because if you want one in Cornwall, it's going to cost you £1,248. Just for the hole. That's not the cable, just for the hole. So, however, you can claim back £350 on the government grant scheme. And that's where this thing that ID Alexander, 10-pointer, bought in at the weekend, where they're going to contribute. Except it didn't sound like that when she said it, did it? It sounded like they were going to pay for it. Well, they ain't going to pay for it. Much like the discount scheme that they announced yesterday, I would imagine that this 350 quid has somehow been priced in, either by the council or the people doing the work. And then that money just goes straight to them, and you end up paying the same amount you would have paid in the first place before the £350 grant came in. Weirdly, for Cornwall, that turns out at £898, which is what the cheapest one was I found on there in a different county. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. However, don't forget, on top of that £898, you've got to spend another £175 on a licence. Possibly every year. We don't know, but at least for this year. So it's going to cost you over £1,000 to cut a hole. So you've paid your £1,073 for your licence and your hole, and you've got your 350 quid back from the government, and there's your hole. You've got your cable, that came with the car. Where are you going to plug it in? Oh, you ain't got an outside box on your wall. Right, you have to get one of them installed. That, fuck knows how much that costs. That varies on electric company, car maker. Oh, there's an absolute minefield out there. All I know is it's going to cost you money. I don't know how much. Certain electricity providers will give it to you cheap if you sign up to their overpriced tariffs. Certain ones will give you a discount. Car makers will give you a discount if you buy a new car. They'll do it for 500 quid. It's a minefield. I ain't going into it because some evangelist will go, oh, I think you'll find that you could get it for free. Nothing's free, mate. Not in this world. Not in the world of milk floatery. Nothing's free. Everyone's making a quid somewhere. So it's going to cost someone, somewhere, something. And then, let's not forget, you got your outside box installed. You paid, let's say you paid 500 quid for that. You got your hole in the ground installed. You paid £1,000 for that. You got your licence. You paid 175 quid for that. And then some fuckers parked outside your house and you can't charge your milk float anyway. So what was the point of the whole thing in the first place? And that's where we are. That is the government's brilliant idea. You can pay for the privilege of having a hole outside your house to put cable in so that you can charge it with your own electric, which you pay for, using an outside box, which you pay for, using a cable, which you paid for, in a hole, which you paid for, into a car, which you paid for. But you can't buy a parking space to park a fucking thing there because it's public property, so you can't even park your car there to use all the things that you've paid for anyway. And some blokes parked in your space and it's completely fucking useless. And that is the future. I mean, it is very much the definition of future my arse. Except it's now my new catchphrase. It's all bollocks. It's just bollocks. And there you have it. Tone's summing up of the hole in the ground, ID Alexander 10-pointer, home EV charging scam, which costs you money. Oh, and let's not forget, I forgot that bit, haven't I? You know when you've paid your grand, or actually you've paid 1,248 quid, and then you've paid 175 quid on top of that, and then you've paid whatever you've paid to have your outside box put in, and you've done all that. Don't forget, you're claiming £350 of that back off the government. And I forgot to add this bit in. And I'm, nearly 20 minutes in now, and I can't believe I forgot that bit. And the bit I forgot to add was, and this is a serious point, is that £350 that the government are giving you back, it's your fucking money anyway! You gave it to them so they can give it back to you. It's coming out of the taxpayers' money. It's not their money to give you. It's your money that you've given them and they're giving it back as an incentive for you to spend more money with them on tax. Jesus. I need a pint. Anybody fancy a pint? This will go live at about 5 o'clock tonight. So, first 10 people in the comments, if you're in the St Austell and you fancy a pint, I'm going for a pint. Feel free to join me. Future my arse is just bollocks.